Today is November 17, and I am at the Cedars of Lebanon State Park, which is just outside of Lebanon, Tennessee. It's a 2-mile, I'm doing the Cedar Forest Trail, which is a 2-mile loop trail, and it's about 3:30, and the sun sets at 4:30 around here, so this is all I can manage for today. I don't want to risk anything longer. Sadly, the leaves are past their prime, but it still is a gorgeous day. Don't have to wear a jacket today. I must say that the people of Tennessee so far are the friendliest people. I was filling up the truck at a pump, and the guy goes, "You need to move to Tennessee. We need more people like you." And all I did was step out of my truck to fill it up. And then when we drove into this campground, people were waving at us, and it's just hilarious. And I walked by and they go, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" Really friendly folk around here. Such a warm welcome. This campground is huge. We got a really good camping spot. It has power and water, and there's shower facilities for $17. We got it with Mom's senior discount. Otherwise, it would have been like $20. So, really nice. And normally I do campground tours in a separate video, but there's so many things closed this time of year that I guess I'll have to come back another year when things are open. It's called the Cedars of Lebanon because back when this park was first established, it reminded the people of the biblical Cedars of Lebanon. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the check-in lady said that it's the largest grove of cedars on the continent. I'll have to see about that. It's marked with white blazes. So I'm doing like a mini series on Noah as I hike through the Bible, and this is the third in the series. So Noah must have had to do a lot of work before the flood. He had to build the big ark. He had to gather all the food for all the animals and all the people. What a massive job that must have been for him. Then God said, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in all this generation." The clean animals came into the ark by sevens, and the unclean animals came in 2 by 2, so just a male and a female for the unclean. When all the animals and birds were in, and the humans, then God shut them in. What a scene that must have been, and what a sense of security, knowing that God was in control and providing protection. We can have that same sense of security at the end of the world when things are so wicked. God's divine power will shield us from the evil one. It's interesting, though, that after God shut them in, he waited 7 days until the rains came. That must have been a real faith-testing time for them. You can just imagine all the hecklers outside the ark scoffing them and God. Nothing was happening. I think God really was trying to prove a point to the people outside. But then the 8th day came.
There followed the muttering of thunder and flash of lightning. Soon large drops of rain began to fall. The world had never witnessed anything like this, and the hearts of men were struck with fear. All were secretly inquiring, "Can it be that Noah was in the right, and that the world is doomed to destruction?" Darker and darker grew the heavens, and faster came the falling rain. The beasts were roaming about in the wildest terror, and their discordant cries seemed to moan out their own destiny and the fate of man. Then the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Water appeared to come from the clouds in mighty cataracts. Rivers broke away from their boundaries and overflowed the valleys. People were frantic with fear, stretching their hands toward the ark and pleading for admittance, but their entreaties were in vain. Conscience was at last aroused to know that there is a God who ruleth in the heavens. They called upon him earnestly, but his ear was not open to their cry. In that terrible hour they saw that the transgression of God's law had caused their ruin.
It rains for 40 days, and the flood covers everything outside the ark. And then the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. The complete destruction of earth's living beings reverses God's universal creation. In other words, the Creator God decreates his creation. How painful that must have been for God to wipe everything out. The Bible is very clear that the flood is a great example of what will happen at the end of the world. Only it won't be destroyed by water. Instead, it will be destroyed by fire. I believe we are living in that time. We don't know exactly when it will happen. No one knows the day or the hour, but we can be ready for it. These are eastern red cedars. These are called sinkholes. Lots of caves in Kentucky and Tennessee. At least I'm on the right trail still. Well, this is cool through here. Well, I must be missing something because this doesn't seem like an overly impressive big grove of cedars. I mean, yeah, there's some cedars, but come to the northwest and you'll see cedar forests. Maybe she meant the largest group of red cedars. I don't know. But the healing hiker rating for this trail is a 2 out of 5. And I'm sure it would be more spectacular during peak leaf season. But yeah, sorry Tennessee. I don't know that I would come back on this trail again. Nothing too exciting except those big rock outcroppings. That was fun. But the campground, now that's another story. That is an amazing campground. I would give that a 5 out of 5. Such a good price. And all the amenities you could want. They even have laundry here, and there's Wi-Fi here. So yeah, 5 stars on the campground. Anyway, the day is getting on and I need to rush home to my camper. But what is preventing you from giving your life to God and being ready for when He comes back and destroys the world? He wants to save the people that love Him, and then He'll destroy those who scoff at Him and mock Him. And yeah, then we'll all be able to live happily ever after. I can hardly wait. Well, until my next epic adventure, and there will be more epic adventures. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace.
Well, I should have looked at the pamphlet before I went on this hike, but I felt pressed for time, so that's why I took off without doing much research. However, this is what the pamphlet says. The Cedars of Lebanon State Park is located in Wilson County and is part of the Cedars of Lebanon State Forest. This park is over 1,100 acres in size, and it is noted for its ecologically significant limestone glade habitat. 19 rare and endemic species of wildflowers are found here. High demand for cedar wood throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries left the area now known as Cedars of Lebanon State Park and Forest nearly cleared of its timber. Following reforestation and development for jobs, recreation, and timber by the Works Progress Administration in the 1930s, this land now contains one of the largest public stands of eastern red cedar in the United States. Not true cedars, these trees are actually junipers, a close cousin. Early settlers associated these evergreens with the dense cedar forests depicted in the biblical lands of Lebanon and began calling them cedars. The original park, completed in 1937, is now listed on the National Register of Historic Districts.